Hi everyone, I am Suhas Mohan, your ACCA tax mentor at Being ACCA, and in this video, we will be looking at the second question of Section C. So as I've told in the earlier video as well of Section C, 15 markers that we have will always come from employment, self-employment, or that is corporation tax or individual income taxation. These are the only two of areas where they will be testing you in for the 15 marker question, but the 10 marker can come from anywhere. As we can see from the first part of it is, itself, it's asking about Bharat's employment income assessment. That means it is coming from the income taxation assessment part of the syllabus. So this would be for 15 marks because it has three requirements. One is of 8 marks and the other two will see as we go forward. Let's start off with reading the question. Bharat works as a full-time employee for Coffee Cabin, a mobile coffee cart business supplying local events and businesses with hot drinks and cakes. Okay. Bharat receives the following income and benefits for the tax year 24-25. A gross monthly salary of 1500. He is paid this on the 28th day of each month. Okay. A bonus of 400 paid to Bharat on 25th April 2025. Okay, says it's paid on 25th April 2025, but we're talking about employment income assessment for the tax year 24-25. That is, it will range from 6th April to 5th April only. So let's see how it goes forward. For work he did in the year to 31st December 2024, okay, he became entitled to the bonus on 20th January 2025. So he became entitled much before the tax year ends. Let's highlight this as well to remember it better. Next, use of a bicycle to get to and from work from 1st May 2024 until 31st October 2024. The annual value of this benefit was £250. Okay, let's highlight this as well. Barista training in London at £799 to Coffee Cabin. Okay, so this was a cost that was incurred to Coffee Cabin. Employer contribution of 6% of Bharat salary made into the business registered occupational pension scheme. Okay, there's an employer contribution. So of 6%, let's highlight this. Next, private medical insurance costing 1420 pounds. Okay, private medical insurance. Okay. Personal use of the new laptop from 6th July 2024, which cost Coffee Cabin £1000. On 6th March 2025, Coffee Cabin transferred the ownership of this laptop to Bharat for £20, at which time it was worth £800. Okay, so until from 6th July 24 until 6th March 2025, he was given it for personal use. From 6th March onwards, the ownership was transferred to Bharat. So that is what we will have to remember. March 2025, first part, and transfer of ownership for £220, at which time it was worth £800. Okay, this is what we'll identify so far. Let's go to the next point. Bharat paid the following amounts during the tax year 2024-25. Okay, 4% of his salary into the employer's occupational pension scheme. Okay, 4% of his salary has been into the employer's occupational pension scheme, which he has contributed. Okay, that is fine. Next is £750 donation to a charity where Coffee Cabin's payroll giving scheme. Okay, £50 and £25 on a train tickets to an employee appreciation day. This was fully reimbursed by Coffee Cabin. Okay, he was provided with £25. He has spent £25, but that had been reimbursed by Coffee Cabin. Fully reimbursed. Let's keep this in mind. Of using contractors to run the coffee carts rather than employees. Bharat is worried about how being self-employed rather than an employee might affect him and would like some explanation of how HMRC would make a decision of this. Okay, so we'll have to identify between how to classify difference between self-employed and an employee and what are the differences between them is what we'll have to help him with, is what is being asked. So let's start off with the question. So the first question says, calculate Bharat's employment income assessment for the tax year 2024-25. So here, all that they're asking for is what is Bharat's employment income assessment. So here Never get confused for tax liability with income assessment. When they ask for income assessment, it just means you will have to calculate the total employment income of Bharat that would be coming as that would become a part of his non-savings income. That's all they are asking for. They are not asking for any tax calculations to be made here. All right. And it says you should use zero to indicate any items which are not deductible or taxable. Okay. So guys, let me tell you, make this a thumb rule. If there are any exempt benefits that are being provided or any disallowed expenditure or anything of that sort, always mark it with a zero because marks will be allocated to that. I have mentioned this in my tax debrief in this debrief sessions as well. I'm mentioning it here again. If anything is an exempt benefit or a disallowed expenditure or an allowed expenditure which has been deducted already, for all such kinds, you should mention zero. If not, you will lose your marks. At least because for those you will have at least 0.5 allocated to those. So you should be very careful in doing that. So let's start off with the question. Okay, this is what they're asking for. Now let's start off. We'll mention the pound value here. Okay. Now let's start with the first one. First, what is there? First is the salary. He is getting a monthly salary of 1500. So since he has been working there, he will be getting it for 12 months. So salary, we should calculate, write it equal to salary 1500 into 12 is equal to, always present your calculations in the form of formula. So you will ensure that there are no calculation errors that are being shown up. Okay, salary has been calculated. Now moving on to the next part. Next part, you have something bonus. So first of all, when is a person eligible to get their money? It is always at the earliest of the entitlement date or the date of receipt of payment. Always remember, it's either salary or bonus or anything. Always it is earlier of. Let me mention it here. You need not have to write this, guys. I'm mentioning it for your reference. Earlier of entitlement date, entitlement date or date of receipt. So this is what you will have to identify. So here bonus he's getting paid on 25th April 2025, which is after the tax year. But the entitlement of the bonus is on 20th January 2025, which falls in the tax year of 6th April 24 to 5th April 2025. So because of that, this bonus will be part of the employment income assessment for this tax year. So take that here because it is eligible. We will be taking that here. Okay, we have gotten this. We'll go to the next one. Use of bicycle to get to and from work for 1st May 2024 until 31st October 2024. The annual value of this benefit was 250 pounds. So let's write bicycle. What do you guys think? Is it an exempt benefit or is it a chargeable benefit? Okay, let me tell you guys something. If any vehicle that has been provided, if anything has been provided as a means of transportation for an employee from their home to the office location other than cars is an exempt benefits. Always remember that. So here bicycle is being provided and the annual value of the gift benefit is 250 pounds, but it does not mean anything to us. We will mark it zero and move on. I am writing it here as well for your reference. You guys need not have to write it. I am just mentioning it for your reference. You just have to do the calculations part. Okay. Next, moving to the next one, that benefit that has been provided, barista training in London at a cost of 799 pounds to coffee cabin. So here, this will be considered as trainings. We'll write it as barista trainings to be very clear. But it's not necessary. Even if you write trainings, it will be considered. Again, any employer sponsored trainings are exempt benefits. So you can always mark it zero, move on. This will also be exempt. So as a thumb rule, this is something that I kept saying all the time in all the videos that I've been making so far. Always remember the exemptions first, then you can easily you'll be able to remember the non-exempt parts. If you're able to make sure that you're thorough with all the exemptions, the others are non-exempt and you'll be able to identify them easily. So spend some time to remember the exemptions part. Okay, so we are done with the barista training. Next, we have employer's contribution of 6% into the occupational pension scheme. So employer's contribution into occupational pension scheme. Again, this is also an exempt benefit. Employers' contributions into the occupational benefit scheme are always occupational pension scheme are exempted. Let's look at the next one. Next is private medical insurance costing 1420 pounds. So let's write private medical insurance. So when we're talking about insurance, only one type of insurance is a exempt benefit. Rest all are chargeable benefits. So that exempt benefit is employee liability insurance. Liability insurance is nothing but the insurance that has been taken to ensure the safety of that employee. But that is an exempt benefit. But other than that, any insurance that has been provided is a taxable benefit. So we'll be considering that. So since it's 1420, we'll be considering that in full. Okay, next we have something of personal use of a laptop from 6th July 2024, which cost Coffee Cabin 1000 pounds. On 6th March 2025, Coffee Cabin transferred the ownership of this laptop for 20 pounds. Okay, so there are two parts involved in this. First is providing it for personal use, and the next is gifting part. So first it is being provided for personal use. So let's take laptop personal use. Laptop personal use. Laptop personal use, how many months is it being provided for? From 6th July 2024 to 6th March 2024. So that is 5 months until December and 3 more months until 6th March. That will give us 8 months. So for 8 months, this is being provided. So when any personal assets are being provided for personal use, they will be calculated as is equal to the initial cost to the employer into into how much is it into 20% into we'll have to take 20%. That is a taxable benefit on that will be calculating. The 20% into how many months is it being provided for? It should be prorated and apportioned to the according to the months. So into 8 by 12. So we got 133. So we can round it down to 133 only. It's not necessary to have it. Yes, we can have it here at 133. We are good to go on this. Now this we have completed the first part of it. Until 6th March 2025, we have completed it. Now we have something called it has been transfer of ownership of this laptop for a consideration of 20 pounds at which it was worth, which time it was worth 800. So then there is a transfer. So now if it is transferred, then that will be considered as a gift. Gift of laptop. So guys, gift of laptop, there is something that we will have to do the calculations part. So if something, there is some calculations or we'll have to identify which is higher or lower or earlier or something. At that time, always present it in your workings. Like I am doing it right now. Let's show it as working one. And take some space, proper space. And here calculate working one. Taxable benefit of. And if you're writing working one over there, always at the working one also or at any other working, mention what is that working related to. Okay, that will get you your brownie points. Always remember that. Taxable benefit relating to gift of laptop. Okay. So now when we're considering this taxable benefit, we of any gift will be based on higher of higher of value of the asset at the time of gift minus consideration paid or and you can show the calculation for this here and mention or You'll do the remaining part. So first, let's do this. Value of the asset higher of, okay, sorry. So value of the asset at the time of gift. Initially, it was $1,000, £1,000, but here at the time of gift, it was only £800. So value of gift at the time of gift, at the time of value of laptop at the time of gift is equal to how much is it? 800 less consideration paid. Consideration paid. Since Bharat has paid some amount for that, that should be deducted. So we'll deduct this. This will be minus 20 pounds, though that will give us some. As I said, always ensure that you use formulas rather than just writing directly the values by calculating in your calculator. You can do that for your section A's and section B's, but for section C's, strictly do it because this will help you in preventing any wrong calculations. By mistake also, this will prevent you from doing that. Okay, so now the taxable benefit can either be 780 or the next consideration is the initial value of the gift minus any taxable benefit claimed. So if we can see here, what happened is this laptop was actually being provided for personal use. So because of that, there is one taxable benefit arising of 133 pounds. So we'll be identifying which is higher. The initial value of the gift is of the laptop is, sorry guys, my bad. Let me change it. Let of laptop is equal to how much is it? It is 1000 pounds. So here we'll be considering 1000. 1000 less any less taxable benefit on personal use minus, always here also if you're doing something, reference it. That way you will ensure that you're getting the right value. Okay, we have it here. Now this is equal to sum this. So here we have gotten 866.7 while 867, while here it is 780. So what is the rule? We should take higher of the both of these. So 867 is what will be the taxable benefit arising on the gift of laptop. Since 867 is higher than 780, always mention this as well so that they'll know from where you're referencing it. Higher than 780, the taxable benefit on the gift would be 867 pounds. Clear, guys? This is your gift of laptop. We've completed this. Now, after this, it's all only payments that are being made. So here with this, we end our benefits. Now let's come to the payments. So when it's payments, we have to know it is deductible. Yes, less. Let's see. 4% of his salary into the employer's occupational scheme. Yes, it is a deductible one. So employee pension contributions can be deducted from your employment income in your calculation. So it is 4% of his total salary. So again, present it in the form of calculations into 4%. You got your value of 720. This can be deductible. Next, 750 donation via Coffee Cabin's approved payroll giving scheme. Okay, so this is a charitable donation being made via the payroll scheme. That is also deductible. That is also deductible expense from the employee income. So we can write that as well. Charity donations, charity via payroll deduction. That will give you how much is it? It's 750. Okay, for reference purpose, it's marked this also minus, put it minus, so it will be better to deduct it easily. Where payroll deduction, we've got our amount here. Next, we have something known as train tickets to an employee appreciation day. So he has spent it. So that is something that is a taxable benefit that can be exempt, but it is being that can be a deductible expense, but it was fully reimbursed by Coffee Cabin. So he spent £25 and that he's getting it back. So because of that, the train tickets would not give you rise to any deductions because it has already been, you have gotten it back. So you can write it as is equal to 25 minus 25, or you can present it as 0. Either way works. So with this, we end everything and we have considered everything. Correct? If you have any doubts about that, verify it once. Salary, yes, salary taken. Bonus, bonus taken. Cycle, cycle taken. Barista training has been taken. Employer's contribution, it has been taken. Private medical insurance, it has been considered. Personal use of new laptop has been considered. Gift of the laptop, this part of it has been considered. With this, we considered all the benefits. Now let's come to the payments. The employer's occupational pension scheme contributions by employee taken. Charity deduction, it has been taken. Yes. Train tickets taken. After this, we really don't have anything. So we are good to go on this. So guys, let me tell you the marking scheme for this. Usually, since the question is for 8 marks, this will give you 0.5. Okay. This will give you 0.5. 5. See, you can see it here. For which are 0 as well, you are getting 0.5 marks. So try to not forget these 0.5. Okay. Private medical insurance. This is also 0.5. Personal use. Since personal use is involving some calculation that you will have to do, you will be getting 1 mark for this. And gift of laptop, higher or not, that will again be based on this. So you'll be getting 0.5. Your 1 mark. All right. So with this, will give this 1 mark as well. You'll be probably getting this. So total 1 point. With this, you have completed. Now let's come to total employment income. Employment income is equal to sum all of these. Sum all of these, you get your answer. And that is what your total employment income would be. And that is all that they're asking for. This will give you your 1 mark. All right, guys. This is how you'll have to calculate, and there you go, your 8 marks. Simply just adding a value of 0. And this will not take a lot of time, just adding zeros, if you know what are the exempt benefits and what are taxable benefits. So that is a catch over here. If you're thorough with those, you'll be good to go on this. With this, we complete the 8 marks portion of it. Now let's move on to the next part. So here it says, calculate the total national insurance contributions payable in respect of Bharat's employment income. So when they're asking for something like total national insurance contributions, it means it doesn't only mean relating to Bharat paying it of Bharat's class 1. It also means the employer making payments in relation to Bharat's employer. That is, you have class 1, employer class 1, and there are also other benefits that are being provided to the employee. Like we can see, he's getting bicycle, he's getting a medical insurance, he's getting a personal laptop, and all of these. So because of that, there will be a class 1A NIC contribution as well, and those also are to be taken into consideration. Is this clear? With this, let's start off with the calculations. First, let's start off with the easier part, that is Bharat's class 1 NIC contribution. So always NIC contributions are made on the earnings. They are not made on the employment income. They are made on the earnings. Earnings include your salary plus your variable pay or your bonuses. That's what we call. So here the employment contributions on. So first let's mention earnings here. How much are the earnings? We can go back to the previous question, previous value. You'll be able to take it from here. The earnings are sum total of the salary plus bonus that's being provided. So it is 18,000 plus 400. And that is what you will be showing here as well. You will be showing it as 18,000 plus 400. Always guys, show it as calculations for your better understanding purposes. Now, NIC contributions. First, how much is exempted? Do not have to remember. Always use these tax tables as much as possible. So let's go to the NIC part. Yes, class 1 employee 1 to 12,570, there is nil. So we can do that. Let me reduce the size of this. Yes, 12,570. Okay, we'll write up to 12,570 at 0. So we will calculate into 12,570 into 0. We get this. And after that, remaining earnings at how much is it? As we can see here, it is at 8% up to 50,270. Since it is only coming up to 18,400, we are good to go on this. So we'll be considering it as 8%. 8%. So how do we calculate it? Is equal to this minus your 12,570 will give rise to your remaining earnings. So this we can put it in brackets if you want to complete the calculation here, or if you want. So into 8%. That gives us your 466.4. So employee class 1 NIC would be is equal to this. Okay. Now let's go to employers NIC contributions. Employers NIC contributions. First we'll start off with employers class 1A. Sorry, let's start off with class 1 only, or we can start because we'll have a consistency in place. We'll start with class 1. We can do it in any order. That's not an issue. But I prefer going by class 1, then class A. And if applicable, we go to class 4. But here, since there is no self-employment, there will be no class 4 applicable. Let's stop with class 1 and class 1A. So here, earnings would be again, earnings are same for earnings are same because it's the same earnings that NICs are being paid. Earnings are is equal to, you do not have to calculate it again. You can show it from here. Okay. Next, employers class 1 NIC computation. So here we have a different rule. It is not 12,570, but do not have to remember. You can come back here and check. It is 9,100 at nil. So up to 9,100 at 0%. So we have 100 into 0. Okay. Then the remaining earnings are charged at 13.8%, are charged at 13.8%. So that's what we'll write in at 13.8%. So is equal to, what do we do? Open brackets, take this minus your 9,100 into 13.8% as you have identified here. That gives you your employer. Therefore, employers class 1A, class 1 NIC is equal to this one. You can show it as a sum of both of these, or you can just show it this. That's not an issue at all. So with this, we have completed employees class 1. We have completed employers class 1. Now let's move on to employers class 1A NIC competition. So when is NIC class 1A applicable? When there are any taxable benefits that are being provided. So the taxable benefits are being provided. We have seen in the previous question, in the previous part of the question. Let's go back to that and calculate what is the total sum of the benefits that are being provided. As you can see, the total benefit starts from starts from bicycle all the way until the gift of laptop. Most of them are zero except for these both. So 1420, 133 and 867 are what we'll be considering. So total of 1420, 133 plus 867. You can copy them, but I'm not sure if this copying works. Yeah, you can't copy it. So you can show the calculations again. Benefits provided is equal to 1420 plus how much is that we have calculated already? 1420 is something that's being provided plus 133 plus 867 equal to 1420 plus 133 plus 867. But always, guys, try to show the presentations again. I'm just showing it for your understanding purposes because you have calculated it there. So let's got benefits provided. So on this, we will be calculating our class 1 NIC computation. So for that, how do we have any exemptions amount or something like that? No, we don't. It is a flat 13.8%. So on the benefits provided, it is flat 13.8% is equal to class 1A NIC at 13.8% is equal to 2 into 13.8% will do the job. That's all you have to do. You can round it off. Yes, with this we have considered all the calculations. Now they're asking for calculate the total net no, national insurance contributions. That means if they ask for total, you will have to add all of those. That is total national insurance contributions is equal to 334 plus 1283.4 plus 466.4. That with that you get 2083.76 and that is your answer. If you want to highlight it, you can bold it up for better presentation purposes, but this is how you will do the calculations. So with this, you come to an end of this question. So now let's move to the third part of the question. So the question asks, explain how HMRC may make an assessment of whether Bharat is self-employed or employed by Coffee Cabin in the future. So for this question, the ultimate thing that we should remember whether a person is self-employed or is an employee is based on one point. That is it a contract of service? Is it a contract of service or is it a is it a contract for service? If it is a contract of service, it means Bharat is an employee. And if it is a contract for services, that means Bharat is self-employed. So this is how we will be identifying. This is a primary identification point. So let's write this. Let's write this in a better manner. For HMRC to make an assessment, if Bharat is self-employed or is an employee of Coffee Cabin, HMRC will assess the contract of Bharat to evaluate if it is a contract of services, contract of Bharat with Coffee Cabin. Let's mention that as well. Coffee Cabin to evaluate if it is a contract of services or contract for services. If contract of services or contract for services, we'll mention that clearly as well. Employ employee or contract of services employer. Okay, but this condition, if you're not able to identify it from the contract very clearly, then we'll have to take the additional steps as well. So we'll mention that if HMRC is unable to make an assessment based on the contract, then it will, then they will look at the additional points which are as follows. Okay. So usually in the exam, they will not correct you for your spelling mistakes or the grammatical mistakes unless and until if the word they are able to understand the meaning of that word, then you're good to go. But be careful just for the purpose of it. So let's start off. The first thing, if they are unable to make an assessment based on contract of services or contract for services, the first thing that they look at is if Bharat is getting all the risks and rewards in relation to running the coffee cart, in relation to running the coffee cart, running the coffee cart. If yes, it is self-employment, employment. Otherwise, Bharat is an employee. So this is one point. The next point is if Bharat is entitled to sick leave or holiday allowances, then Bharat is not considered a self-employment, but is considered as an employee, but as an employee. So this is our second point. Now let's move on to our third point. If Bharat is provided with all the tools and equipment related to the coffee cart, then Bharat will be considered or deemed as an employee. This is the third point. The next thing is we have to identify if Bharat is only having contract with Coffee Cabin or if he has any other contracts. If he has a contract only with Coffee Cabin, that means he's an employee. And if he has multiple other contracts, that means he's a self-employed person. So that is the point that we'll be writing here. If Bharat has other contracts as well, contracts other than the one with Coffee Cabin, then Bharat is deemed to be self-employed. So these are the 4 points. So with this point, you will be getting 1 mark. And with these points, if you write 4, because the total is for 3 marks, if you write with this, you'll be getting your 1 mark. And for each other point that you write, if they are unable to make an assessment, you'll be getting half mark for each. So this makes up your total of 3 marks. And with this, we complete our second question of the section C. Bye guys, prepare well, all the best.